Oh, it's saying here only meeting organizers and presenters can share. So I guess I might not have the right designation actually.
It's that for you right now. Make a presenter. Done.
Awesome. That was quick. All right, here we go. All right, thanks for joining us. Today, I'm going to walk everybody through 8 AEO hacks you need to know. I think hack is kind of a misnomer here. These are pretty actionable tactics and things that, if you um, execute them across your website and your marketing content, I think you'll actually see results really quickly. So let's get into it. A little bit about myself. My name is Jackson Tarrant. I'm the head of growth at Marketing Copilot, a marketing agency for Dynamics users and Microsoft companies. I've spent the last sort of 10 years in SaaS, fintech, and other tech-enabled services like advertising. Most of my focus has been on demand generation and sort of go-to-market architecture and revenue operations. And right now, I spend a lot of time focusing on AI and how to sort of implement that across any type of business, really, for growth. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn as well. Just to set the stage, I think this was sort of an aha moment that I had personally, coming from a background, in SEO and keywords. Um, the new name of the game is questions. Instead of optimizing for keywords, you need to figure out what are the questions that people are asking in LLMs. So, what's the difference between SEO and AEO? In my opinion, I think that the jury's out a little bit on this. I think that eventually there will be a hard line in the sand between SEO and AEO tactics, but right now they're very dependent on one another. The analogy that I like to use is SEO is sort of what um, allows you to get a seat at the auction. And if you have really strong AEO fundamentals, that's what gets your content selected or purchased at the auction. So you need a seat at the table, and that's why you need a strong SEO backbone or foundation. Now, let's get right into it with 8 AEO tactics. I've changed it from hacks. So number one, I think it's really important to build a high quality FAQ section on your website. On the left side here is some tips. I think we'll share this deck and like Kelly mentioned the replay. So this is my recommendations for building a robust FAQ section on your website. You can see ours on the right side here. And it's just really important because LLMs put a lot of emphasis on um, your own properties and your own website content. So if if it can't find that information on your website really quickly, it might make it up. So you want to make sure that you're owning the narrative. And that's going to be one of the big themes throughout the presentation too, is about that owning the narrative. So it's important to keep in mind that if you're not there, ChatGPT might hallucinate, or even your competitors might have content about why you're not a good fit, and that might show up first. So having an FAQ is very important. Two, this is a really cool trick I've seen some cool AI companies doing, which is building a AI info page. So this is super lightweight. There's no images. It's entirely text-based, but it covers absolutely everything about your business. And this is, once again, will help ChatGPT find you really quickly and make sure that you're the source of truth. The other thing is, I don't know if anyone's experimented with chatbots in the past, but you could also use this as the brain for your chatbot and say, make sure that you're sticking to our company information, you're using our brand tone of voice. Similarly, maybe you're writing a new blog post and you say, okay, I want to write about this topic, make sure to use my company information, and you just drop the link into your chat. So it's a really quick way to make sure that ChatGPT doesn't hallucinate and also helps you rank in other queries more often. Number three is to simplify your About Us page. I've seen some really good case studies of companies that are not ranking on ChatGPT because their About Us is so messy and jumbled. But just by simplifying it to once again being more of a text only page on your website, it increases the speed of which the models can scrape your page. And once again, that is really important in terms of ranking in LLMs. So Um, I recommend sort of stripping out your About Us page maybe unless your business maybe requires it, but I think that there's an opportunity to do some sort of about page, an AI page, and then maybe more of a company culture page. And I think that might be the shift that we're starting to see is that when people really want to learn about your business from a prospect perspective or even maybe from a hiring perspective, that you should have that sort of careers page or some sort of culture page on your website in addition to a really lightweight about us page. Number four is to develop tactical comparison pages. I know um, this is a bit of a sensitive subject too, because sometimes you don't want to actually compare yourself to someone that's not exactly in the same category that you are, or maybe your category is a little bit misunderstood. So putting yourself into the bucket with someone else can actually hurt you. So this you have to be very tactical with and also make sure that you're not stepping on anyone's toes or offending other people because you can get in some trouble for that too. So I'm actually not recommending you would put these pages within your key navigation or in the footer of your page like you could see on the right side. I actually think that might hurt you more than it helps you. However, the benefit here is that once again, when people are asking these questions, this is what ChatGPT will lean into first and foremost is blog posts like these. It's the top 10 alternatives to X software for Y role. Answering those types of questions will get you found and cited really, really fast. And it's important to just keep them really factual and not like advertising because I think AI is also really good at sniffing out what is totally promotional and what is actually grounded in reality. So that's also very important. And listicles, womp womp. I know some people hate these, and it's kind of lame because it's going to say the 10 best outbound automation tools in 2025, and number one is, of course, your company. However, these really do help you get cited in ChatGPT. So if you're not running listicles or creating this type of content on your blog today, I think it's a pretty big missed opportunity. And my pro tip, as you can see in the bottom right corner, is to just make the sentence longer. It might sound kind of silly, but the more you niche down, um, the more relevant the content becomes and increase the amount you get cited. So in this example, we're saying top four Microsoft partners for CRM implementation with 24/7 support in Canada. So um, that's my tip. Just make the sentence longer, and that'll increase the richness of your content. Um, I should also mention, I think that we're also shifting from keyword optimization to question optimization, like I said. So you have to have a really strong blog post on your website that says, what is the best tool to do X task? And that's where, you can lean into sort of jobs to be done theory. What is it the job that needs to be done? What is it our product actually solves for? And framing that as a question and obviously answering it on your website. Another cool thing I've seen a lot of companies do is they'll combine the concept of the listicle and the FAQ. So they do the listicle, the top 10, whatever, and then at the bottom there's an FAQ section that has a little bit more detail. And so once again, it's kind of like the new version of keyword stuffing is question stuffing. So almost at the end of every single blog post, you should consider including just a brief FAQ section. Next thing I want to talk about is offsite optimization. This is a fairly large topic and we can get really, really deep into it, but I just wanted to sort of put the concept out there is that a lot of these websites like Reddit, peer review websites, or even Wikipedia have really strong authority with these LLMs because it's trusted and it's also a third party. So it's once again, it's not your own website that you're optimizing for, it's the other platforms. How do you appear on them? A lot of these companies will probably create profiles for you as well, sometimes as a sales tactic to get you onto it, and they'll say, we made a profile for you on G2, probably pay us a bit of money and you can claim it and manage it on your own. And there's a lot of free offerings as well, so it's not like you have to pay to play, but I would consider setting some budget aside next year for some of these review sites. I used to be a huge hater of them, to be honest. I thought it was silly because all the reviews are very much paid for or fake. That's not always the case, but I think that going into next year, it actually is wise to start reconsidering some of these larger platforms. Think about where they appear, what the actual content is on your profile on these sites, and what category is it placing you into? Because often they put you in a box. Even on a website like Reddit, which is really, really vast, you need to consider the fact that there are sub-communities. And so maybe there are CFOs talking about a certain accounting software in a platform, but you want to make sure that is that the category you want to play in, or is it more of ERP with an accounting function? So just consider the categories that your brand plays in because it will impact the way that it ranks and appears on ChatGPT, for example. The next thing, I'm going to get a little bit technical here, and I was saving this for the end. So one thing I think is really important, this has been studied and sort of proven to rank on LLMs almost immediately. It can really, really impact how you show up. So it's really, really important that you have a strong schema markup on your website. What is schema markup? It is the structured data that gets added to your HTML that tells Google or search engines or answer engines exactly what the content means, not just like what the words are. I think that it's also not super advanced when it comes to images and also certain structures on your page. So if you have weird parallax scrolling effects or animations that only appear once a visitor reaches a certain part of the page, that can really have a negative impact as well. And so writing really consistent schema markup and inserting that within the root directory of your website can make a huge difference. I know it sounds very technical, but in Webflow, it's as simple as going to your page settings and there's an AI feature even that can automatically generate the schema for you. Similarly, if you're a WordPress website, you might be familiar with Yoast or some of those other SEO plugins. They also have the ability to very, very easily create this and insert it into your page. So I think that this is a really important lever that's a little bit technical, but it does definitely fall into marketing's domain. So it's important that you have a bit of a grasp of schema markup and why it's important. So I hope that was kind of clear. And then here's a tip for you of kind of taking it to the next step is to actually preview how your website looks right now. So on the right side, you could see this Marketing Copilot website. And to be honest, we actually haven't, it looks like we haven't actually done the best job here. So our logo is gigantic. Right below that, you can see links to different subpages on the website, but it's not structured in a way that's very clear or readable. So this website, you can enter your website URL, and for free, you can view how it looks to the AI engine. So highly recommend checking this one out. And just, I think that there is an ability within this tool as well to just convert it, and you can begin typing through it manually and fixing it. But anyways, this is really important. I thought this was a really good tip. And we've run this for some of our clients as well, and make sure we fix this. And we were actually able to see results almost overnight. And that's it. I think I flew through that pretty quickly. Is anyone have any questions or want me to maybe elaborate? I'm happy to flip through some of the slides if you want me to go into more detail, but just let me know.
That was amazing, Jackson. Thank you. I think we've all, in 20 minutes have a bit of a to-do list here of what some of us want to
Yeah.
add to our 2026 strategy. But yeah, I invite anyone to come off mute, ask questions. Carol asked in the chat, what tool did you use to scrape the website data?
Sorry, are we referring to this slide? Because I
Yeah.
put a little link here. It's called spider.cloud. So check that out. I am not associated to it in any way, but it's a very, very easy tool. You just put in your website URL and you can see exactly how it appears in ChatGPT, for example.
Awesome. And Danielle Parks was asking, any suggestions on how to analyze this on the back end?
Yeah, there's some new tools right now that will let you track. It's sort of the new method right now is referred to as prompt tracking, similar to keyword tracking back in the day. But what they do is they're actually running queries basically every minute on different business topics and different things, ranking where it shows up, and then doing it the next day. So every single day, just tracking over and over again, how are those prompts showing up when asking the same questions, and what are those like factors that are actually impacting how you show up. I think it once again, it really does come down to niching down, making the sentence longer, asking really, really good questions, and making sure that it's organized in that schema markup I was talking about there, so it's easily readable. If you nail those three things, I think you can show up for almost any question in an LLM right now.
Yeah, and I will add that doing the schema markup in Yoast, if you are a WordPress user, is extremely easy. Don't need technical expertise to do it.
Right.
Um, Jackson, if where would you recommend someone starts? If I had to do one thing next week to start optimizing my website for LLMs, where should I start?
So I guess beyond the schema markup, um, I think that you need to have a really good process for blog writing. I think that's important. I think that most content, we talk about marketing content becoming super generic with the onset of AI and everybody's writing and saying the same things. I think it's actually really easy to not fall into that trap. Making sure that you're bringing in your own subject matter expertise, maybe as interview clips and quotes, showing up on other websites as well, like I mentioned in some of those profiles. Um, Maybe what I would recommend doing is type in a bunch of queries that your customers would answer on ChatGPT. You could take those links and see which websites are being cited for those questions that you're asking. And that will give you a really good indication of, okay, if I want to rank for Microsoft ERP implementation, um, I should just figure out what are all those questions that someone might ask, and then maybe that there is a ERP software blog comes up is often cited, and that'll give you a really good hint of, okay, I think I need to be on that website because it comes up in the citation. So almost like ask a bunch of questions that you think your buyers would be asking, and see which websites get cited, and then maybe track those and start to ask for backlinks, build a bit of a rapport. If there's a human, if as long as it's not maybe a competitive website or something like that, you can try to reach out to their marketing team and get cited on their website too. That also increases your authority. So I think that would be a really good place to start. Just start asking questions, tracking how or who's cited in those answers.
And then furthermore, like on the blog topic, I remember when SEO was a huge part of my daily marketing job 10 years ago. And the blog posts that performed best for Google ranking were ones that included, we were hitting on the keywords, we had the meta description, we had optimized the blog post title. There was images and the images were formatted properly. They had alt image tags. The file names were correct with keywords in them. And then usually embedding a video as well. So it was kind of this robust blog post formula that helps me rank on the first page of Google over and over and over for my keywords that I was targeting. For blogs today for AEO, it seems to me that it's more about formatting and the actual writing opposed to adding in images or videos. Can you speak to that at all? Do you have any insight on what strategies are working now?
Yes. So, sorry, do you mind just repeating sort of the end of the question just so I'm making sure I understand you perfectly
Yeah,
correctly?
blog post 10 years ago, I was making sure to always add images, always add videos. Today, do I need to embed that kind of media? Because I don't see any like ChatGPT's not, are they
Yeah,
crawling
that's
images and videos, or are they're just crawling words?
That's a really good question. I don't think it's at the point now where
Yeah.
it is crawling images, but if you have a video, YouTube and YouTube transcripts, for example, even the auto-generated ones, definitely get cited.
Okay.
So that's a good hint, actually. I didn't really think about that, but you're right. I think if a blog post, imagine you wrote a really nice long form blog post, and then you had maybe a video of just a talking head person, like 5 to 10 minutes, basically summarizing that. I actually think that that would be, yeah, that could be a really effective tactic to sort of boost the authority if it, because I do think that ChatGPT is aware when it reads a blog post that there is a maybe like multimedia assets within it. And so maybe that does improve the authority of a post, versus just strictly text. But there is the risk that, your page is going to get crawled a lot slower if
Right.
you're including more and more content in there. So yeah, that would be an interesting experiment.
Okay, follow-up question to that. And please come off mute, anyone else, because we have so many marketing professionals on this call. So if anyone else knows the answer. Um, Domain authority. I know it's not as relevant as it was, say, 10 years ago, but how Google is ranking us, what our domain authority is, what that score is, are LLMs looking at that?
Yes, I think so. I think that, like I said, the having that strong SEO and brand authority gets you the seat at the table, and then having the right content that actually answers the question most effectively is what will then get you cited and recommended. So I think there was this HubSpot video that came out recently that I think a lot of marketers um, watched without realizing that HubSpot has this incredible authority. So obviously, when there's a marketing question, they're gonna come up first. I think that it was kind of funny. Maybe I'm being a little contradictory here, but in that HubSpot video, they sort of claim to have cracked the code on how to get cited, but while overlooking the fact that they already had the strongest brand authority on
Yeah.
SEO anyways. So yeah, I think that that's why having that SEO brand authority is really important, and I think it's coming back in style a little bit.
So my takeaway from that is don't throw SEO out the door, and we are building AEO on top of it.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions from the audience?
Oh, I see someone went off mute,
Yeah, I know.
but I don't hear them.
June, did you have a question for us?
Nope, just
Okay.
accidentally went off mute. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, hello.
Yeah, I'm happy to go through any of these slides, like I said, in a little bit more detail, but really my goal of this presentation is just to make it actionable. If you guys went through all 8 of these things and checked the boxes on each one of them, I have a very strong feeling that you will get cited on ChatGPT. And I've seen marketers claim to run experiments where they can impact the results in less than an hour. I don't know if I believe that entirely, but like I said, people do claim to be able to impact the results very, very quickly.
Yeah, and I don't think the 8 hacks that you've given us today are particularly time consuming to experiment with either. So,
Yeah.
like I said, this the recording from this is going to go up on the Doug YouTube channel. They usually put it up in a day or two. The link is in the chat for that channel. Um, I don't know the easiest way for us to get the deck in the hands of everyone. I think I can do it through the Meetup platform and share a link.
Okay.
But if you don't receive it, take note of Jackson's email there on the screen right now, and you can reach out directly to him if you need a copy of the deck as well. And I'll just give a second here because I do see Danielle's typing in the chat.
Okay. Let me also recommend if anyone really wants to go deep on the prompt tracking, like I mentioned, I'll put one company in the chat here that I've seen other people find success with. It's called Scrunch AI or scrunch.com, sorry.
Perfect. Thank you.
And I'm going to put one more in here. I'm not being paid to promote these, but I do think they're maybe worth checking out. And They have some interesting sort of thought leadership on this topic as well. Another one called That's Noble. Their value proposition is get discovered on AI search. So if that appeals to you, I definitely recommend checking them out as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Jackson.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Kelly. Appreciate it.
Oh, sorry. One last question from Danielle, just slipped in there.
Okay.
Any correlation between AEO and LinkedIn?
LinkedIn. You know what? That's a really good question, but I think that LinkedIn often blocks crawlers like ChatGPT. So the crossover there is actually very minimal, I would say. Um, Having a strong profile on LinkedIn, like a personal profile on LinkedIn, I don't actually think would it really improve your authority in LLMs because LinkedIn blocks any sort of scraping capabilities. There are companies that get around it, but they would look down on that. And so I think that even the models like know that they shouldn't necessarily refer to LinkedIn as a source of truth because it's also very promotional and everybody sort of has an angle. So I think it also kills it a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Awesome. Okay, well, with that, we will end this call. But everyone has Jackson's email address there if you have any other questions that come up. And then once again, that code for anyone that's looking for a DynamicsCon ticket is MTK15, and that'll give you 15% off your DynamicsCon ticket. That is exclusively for anyone that is a member of the Marketing Professionals group, so it will not work if you spread that outside of the group. If you attended this event today, you were automatically enrolled in that. So anyone on this call can use that.
Awesome.
Awesome. Okay, thank you guys. Have a
Great.
great day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.